Dive them into the sea! No escape! Onward!
All right, let's dive in. We're about to dissect one of the most epic rescue stories of all time, the crossing of the Red Sea. But we're not just retelling it. We're going to break down the anatomy of this miracle, piece by piece, to figure out what gives it such lasting power.
So, why does a story that's thousands of years old still hit so hard? Because it's more than just a history lesson, right? It's like a blueprint for redemption. It's a divine script about what happens when you hit rock bottom, when you're completely trapped, and the only way out is through something that looks absolutely impossible.
Okay, so let's get into the setup. The story doesn't kick off with some clear path to freedom. No, it starts with what you can only describe as a perfect, divinely engineered trap. A dead end. But here's the twist. It was designed not for them to fail, but to set the stage for something so powerful it would completely shatter any human strategy. Just look at this. This is what you'd call a perfect kill box. And get this, God told them to camp right here at Pi Hahiroth. From any military perspective, this is just insane. It's a suicidal move. You've got the Red Sea in front, mountains and desert on the sides, and the most terrifying weapon of the day, Pharaoh's elite chariots bearing down on you. By any and all human logic, they were absolutely doomed.
So the trap is set. And what happens when the pressure gets this intense? It cracks everyone open and reveals what's really going on inside. We see three main players on this stage, and each one has a totally different reaction to the exact same crisis. And honestly, each one is kind of like a mirror to our own souls.
First up, we have Pharaoh, and he isn't just mad. He's consumed by this self-destructive obsession. I mean, think about it. He just witnessed the horror of 10 plagues, but he immediately snaps back to a cold, hard economic calculation. His pride completely blinds him to the supernatural power he just saw. All he can think about is, hey, I lost my free labor.
Then you've got the people of Israel. The second they see that cloud of dust from Pharaoh's army, their fear kicks in, and they have what you could call a total slave mentality relapse. I mean, what they say is just shocking. They're basically screaming they would rather go back and die in the familiar prison of Egypt than face the terror of this unknown freedom. It's wild.
And then there's Moses. He's literally stuck in the middle of it all. He's got a panicking nation at his back and a charging army to his front. And yet somehow he projects this incredible supernatural calm. He doesn't even try to argue with them. He just commands this sacred silence, telling them to be still. It's the complete opposite of the chaos and hysteria exploding all around him. So, here we are, the peak of human failure. Panic has taken over. All hope seems lost. And that's when the divine action begins. But it's not some magic poof, an instant fix. No. This unfolds like a slow burn, breathtaking cinematic sequence. A deliberate, powerful display of who's really in charge.
The way this rescue plays out is just incredible. First, that pillar of cloud and fire, it moves. It becomes this barrier, plunging the Egyptians into total darkness, while at the same time lighting the way for the Israelites. Then the wind starts, a powerful east wind that blows relentlessly all night long. This wasn't quick. It was a sustained, overwhelming show of force that literally pushes the water back, carving a dry path right through the sea, with walls of water on either side. And this is where it gets really interesting. The very same path becomes two totally different things. For Israel, it's a road to salvation. The ground is dry and firm. But for the Egyptians who charge in right after them, that same path becomes a deadly trap. The ground turns to mud, their high-tech chariot wheels get stuck, they break off. Their greatest military advantage becomes their downfall.
You see, this crossing was way more than just a physical escape. It was something deeper. It was a profound, permanent shift in identity for an entire nation. This was the exact moment they went from being a group of slaves to becoming a people with a destiny.
Theologians have a name for this. They call it the Red Sea baptism. Think about it. The people pass through these waters of chaos, and when they come out on the other side, their old identity is literally washed away. The very water that delivers them is the same water that destroys the army chasing them. It means their past, it can't pursue them anymore. It's gone.
And imagine the scene that cements this change for them. The next morning, they look back and see the bodies of their captors, the Egyptian army, washed up on the shore. The source of all their fear, the nightmare that haunted them for generations, it was just gone, permanently. And in that moment, the fear they had for Pharaoh was replaced by a deep, profound awe of God.
Okay, so what does this all mean for us right now? Well, this ancient script is actually a pattern. It's a blueprint for our own lives, for those moments when we feel completely trapped, when our backs are against the sea.
This story really challenges us to ask a tough question. Who is our Pharaoh? What are the forces that keep us enslaved? And I'm not talking about literal chains. I'm talking about the more subtle ones, the chains of comfort, of familiarity, of fear.
You know, our modern Egypt could be that stable job that pays the bills but is slowly crushing our spirit. It could be a toxic relationship that we stay in just because we're afraid to be alone. Or maybe it's just numbing habits that we call routine. So often, the real enemy isn't some big army chasing us. It's that little voice inside our own heads, the one that sounds just like the Israelites, whispering, "You know what? Dying in this familiar misery is better than the terror of being rescued." And that's really the question this story leaves us with, isn't it? When you feel trapped by your circumstances, when all the exits seem sealed, when the enemy is closing in, can you see past the iron bars of your situation to the unfinished vision beyond? When your back is against the sea, can you find it in you to be still, to stand firm, and to watch for a path that you absolutely cannot see yet?
The Lord has parted the sea for us.